Let's talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill and around the country. Joining us tonight is Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Leader McConnell, welcome.
Glad to be with you.
On infrastructure, today was a bit of a roller coaster ride. Announcement of a bipartisan deal, then talk that Democrats still want as much as a $6 trillion partisan package that progressives like Senator Bernie Sanders want. Is this a trap or a bait and switch being set by Democrats for the GOP?
Well, I was initially optimistic, but you could best be described as a tale of two press conferences. After the first one, the president walks out with a bipartisan group and blesses an infrastructure bill that many of my members are quite optimistic about. And then after all of those people depart the White House, the president goes out for the second press conference and says, unless you pass my tax bill, I won't sign the infrastructure bill. Mm-hmm. So what it does is put my members, including myself, who were optimistic about doing a bipartisan infrastructure bill, in the position of our Democratic friends having to guarantee that the 2017 tax bill is unwound. That's our one red line. We're not going to revisit the 2017 tax bill, which is an enormous success for the country, led us to the best economy in 50 years as of February 2020. And so I think we've gone from optimism to pessimism as a result of the president's second press conference.
So you've been through many, many talks over the years. In your view, is there any chance of an infrastructure bill getting to President Biden's desk, especially with this two-track approach they're taking?
Well, it puts all of us Republicans who think the 2017 tax bill was the key to America's economic success as of February 2020 in the position of, if we cooperate with them in passing the infrastructure bill, all the Democrats have to line up and fracture the 2017 tax bill, raising taxes on individuals, on estates, on companies, and the rest. It puts us in a very, very challenging position. So I would say we need to keep talking here because I think the bill, to be bipartisan, is going to have Republican support.
Okay, to illegal immigration, Vice President Harris is due to visit El Paso tomorrow, not going to the Rio Grande Valley or that crowded facility in Donna, Texas. Do you expect this trip to the border to lead to a meaningful shift in the administration's policy in terms of this immigration crisis?
Well, I'd sure like to see a shift. We all know the Remain in Mexico policy being undone by this administration created the crisis. At least the administration feels it's important enough to send the vice president down there, but I think the proof will not be in the visit, but in the policy.
Any explanation, in your view, why El Paso and not the Rio Grande Valley?
That's a good question. Maybe the vice president can answer that.
Fair enough. Okay, so the voting bill that failed in the Senate this week, President Biden is not letting it go. Let's take a listen.
What these guys are trying to do now, in rough approximation, is say that if we don't like the way the vote turned out and we control the state legislature, we're going to say the vote didn't count. And we're going to recount. That's never happened before. It's wrong. Who in God's name, as my mother would say, died and left them boss?
The voting rights bill only got 50 yes votes. It needed 60. It wasn't even close to passing. Was this a messaging bill all along?
Well, I think so. And if the president wants to keep on talking about it, we'd like to keep on talking about it, too, because there's no voter suppression going on in any state in America. And the bill they were trying to pass would have taxpayer dollars spent on political campaigns, would turn the Federal Election Commission from a judge into a prosecutor, in other words, make it unbalanced, and prevent photo ID at the polls, something supported by 80% of Americans. So if the president wants to keep on talking about this bill, so do we.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a January 6th commission today. In fact, she mentioned you by name. Let's take a listen.
Despite the expressed support of 7 GOP senators, Mitch McConnell asked Republican senators to do him a personal favor and vote against the commission. Cowardly, the Republican senators did him a personal favor rather than honoring their patriotic duty to protect and defend.
How do you respond to her, and do you worry about this commission dragging on through next year?
Yeah, this is not about me. This is about the Democrats trying to convince the American people that we're not going to find out what happened on January 6th. Well, we were all witnesses, we know. People are being arrested, indicted, and one has already pled guilty. Nobody will fail to be punished. In terms of preventing this from happening again, 2 committees in the Senate have already reported a game plan to prevent this from happening again with a new security apparatus. Nobody's going to get away with anything, and all of those who participated are going to be punished.
Leader McConnell, 50-50 Senate. Next year, you've got another opportunity of elections. Are you going to be the majority leader in 2023?
Sure hope so.
All right, Leader Mitch McConnell, we have to leave it there. Many thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.